in the world of AI and within the Meta dashboard, very tempting to do everything that Meta tells you to do. And write this down, put it on your computer. How do you think Meta makes money from people paying to be on the platform? So if Meta is going to recommend that you increase your budget 25%, just because they say so doesn't mean your goals, your wallet, any of your structure agrees with that. So just always be mindful. Meta is truly going to want you to spend more or to do this AI feature because they get rewarded on it. So it's just really good to always have your human brain, but also to maybe not ask ChatGPT on these things.
Mompreneurs, it's not business, baby. It's business and babies. Whether you're rocking the carpool line, building your business during nap time, or dreaming big after bedtime, we've got the tools, tips, and strategies to help you grow your business. Grab a snack, your headphones, and enjoy this time with us because mom life and boss life deserve balance.
If you've been feeling like you're doing this alone, I want you to know you don't have to. The Monetizing Mompreneur Society is a space for women like you who are building their business in this season of life, who want clarity, support, and the strategy that actually works. We have weekly coaching calls, content guidance, and real opportunities to grow your visibility and email list. Come join us at LindaMendible.com. I would love to see you inside. Welcome, everyone, to the live panel discussion about meta ads and ads in general. We're going to go over a lot of things today. And before we get started, I would love for Lauren and Samantha to introduce yourselves. Please, Lauren, go ahead and take the floor.
Right. Thanks so much for having me, Linda. I am Lauren Goldman. I am founder, owner of Goldman Grows, where we specialize in all types of ads, Meta, Google, TikTok, and beyond. Particularly, we have a paid ads program called Ads That Grow, and this is the done with you hands-on coaching program that is top-notch because we are actually inside your account with you. And the goal is that you are understanding your paid ads every step of the way. A little bit of background, I've been running global ads for huge names that you would probably recognize in any drugstore, such as L'Oreal, It Cosmetics, Bondi Sands, Morphe brushes. And my love of paid advertising really grew out of that hands-on experience. And now I've just pivoted to help entrepreneurs have the same success that these huge brands can as well.
Wow, those were powerful brands. Thank you so much for being here. And I can't wait to dive into all of the goodness and juiciness that you guys have. Samantha, would you please introduce yourself as well?
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Linda. I'm Samantha Fine, the founder of Samantha Fine Digital. I'm a meta ads and funnel strategist for female founders. I used to work for billion-dollar brands as well. I've spent most of my career in agencies and working up the corporate ladder for brands like Coca-Cola, Whole Foods, Lysol. You look inside your house, you probably have one of those brands as well. And I pivoted into the online space after becoming a mom and actually being discriminated against for becoming a mom and realizing that I want to have that successful, fulfilling career and be the mom I want to be. So I started helping other female founders, many of them moms, scale their sales and create profitable sales systems fueled by ads, focusing on meta ads and strategic funnels. So I have done with you services as well as done for you services, all one-on-one that I work with clients to create these scalable systems.
Oh, it's going to be an amazing topic, an amazing panel discussion, especially with the information that you guys have are true professionals. And I'm really, really excited to dive in. Before we dive into the questions you guys do know, I have a couple of questions that I would like to ask. And one of my questions is, what do you see when it comes to small business owners and online entrepreneurs? What do you see working? What do you see not working?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in. I think something that I see a lot with founders is they see something that's working for someone else. Maybe they take a course, maybe they heard from somebody one strategy that they're doing and they try to apply it to their business. But the thing about ads is that they really need to be customized to your specific offers, your funnel, your audience, all of that. So just because something worked for someone else does not mean it's a copy paste going to work for you. You really need to align your ad strategy to your specific funnel. You need to keep in mind, what is the size of your audience? How long have you been feeding Meta data about who your buyers are based on your pixel and conversions API and all the different ways that you can tell Meta who is actually buying from you? That's going to be different from someone else's business. That is so specific to yours. And it's a key piece I think a lot of people get wrong. Your messaging is going to be specific to your business audience offers. So just because something worked for someone else does not mean you can pick it up and apply it to your business. You really need it to be customized for you.
That is so good. And Samantha, I love how you touched on that because I'm going to also piggyback off of that. Well, oftentimes people might try to do that, be like, oh, this worked for so-and-so, or I learned this in a specific course. And when they go to apply it themselves, it doesn't work for them. And so they completely just hang up their hat. I've heard time and time again from small business owners, this is how I learned it, but it just didn't work for me. So ads didn't work for me. I wasted a bunch of money and I'm never going to do it again. Instead of saying exactly what Samantha said, this specific way of doing it didn't work for me. So let's now pivot. It doesn't mean in general that ads don't work for you. You just weren't setting them up correctly from the get-go.
It's so true. And there's so many ways to approach it when it comes to ads. And when do you guys feel a person is ready for ads? Because some people can go right away into ads. Are they just wasting their time? Right. They validated their offer, all that? Or do they have to have a certain online presence? Does it help to grow their online presence? When would you say someone should invest in ads and how much should they invest in it? I know you guys will have conflicting or maybe different ways. I'm sure you guys have your own style, right?
No, that's a good question. I'm going to, if you don't mind, jump in then. I know, Samantha, you're really good on the funnels. So I'll just speak to some of it. As far as what I'm looking for when people come to me and they're interested in running ads or they say they're ready, I seriously look at what it is that they are offering. Is it a service? Is it a product? What's the price point? And also, too, the most important thing is, this is where I was like, Samantha tag, because ads will not make you a millionaire overnight. I always joke, or else I would not be here, right? So I say that to say it is so important that you have the back end set up. Where are your ads going to? If you do not have that landing page set up, if you don't have the funnel set up, you don't have the emails in place, you don't have the DM set up, you are basically spending money for nothing at the moment. So that is the first thing I look at is their offer, and also are they ready to have the traffic that they're about to pay for?
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, Lauren, I say the same thing. Ads won't make you a millionaire overnight. There are so many stories out there. People are like, I set my ads live and I made $1 million. That's not true. It's just, that's not reality. Ads are not going to fix a broken funnel. I think there's a lot of people who say, you need to get the traffic, so you need to run ads. And yeah, ads will give you more traffic. But if you haven't validated your offer, you're going to spend a lot more money paying to validate it than you would if you just knew, okay, this offer works. This structure brings people into my world and converts them. I already know that. Now I can take those messaging points, apply it to my ads, and scale that. Ads work best when they're pouring fuel into a fire that's already burning, not trying to light something for the first time.
I like that. I like that analogy, I guess, that perspective, that it only works when there's already fire, it's already hot and piping hot and people want it, right? An on-demand product or service. I honestly hear from people believe ads are the way. ClickFunnels, right? That went crazy, right? Because you put it in an ad, it was a certain way, and blah, 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 blah. And a lot of people did make a lot of money with it. And then a lot of people also lost a lot of money with it. But it became a thing, right? With the whole funnels and stuff like that, and just running ads to it to get more traction. So one of the questions here that we have, it's what's one spicy or unpopular opinion you have about meta ads that most marketers would argue with? You guys probably would argue with one another. I don't know.
I would say a lot of people say ads are the traffic driver. And while they are, I think of ads as that fuel for your funnel. It's not just about getting traffic. And it's about getting the right people to your landing page, your opt-in page, your sales page, whatever, and getting them to take that action. And I think when you hear that it's ads your traffic driver, one, for people that don't know ads, it can actually lead them to setting them up incorrectly and using the wrong objective, the actual traffic objective. It can also just get you the wrong idea of what the goal of ads are. Yes, it's traffic, but if your actual funnel, ads work best when the objectives you're using in your funnel are tied to the objectives of your funnel. So if you're trying to get more leads, it's a lead generation tactic. The goal of your ads is to drive leads, not traffic. If you're trying to get more sales, the goal of your ads is to drive sales, not traffic. So a little bit of a different take than a lot of other marketers, but I really see them as that fuel to your funnel, not just driving traffic.
For sure. I 100% agree. I would say what I often, beating the dead horse, is oftentimes people think that you need to be everywhere. So you should be on Meta, you should be on Google, and you should be running TikTok ads, and you should have the YouTube ads. And that is one thing that I'm forever backing Meta up, that if you are paying attention to these marketers that are saying, oh, we're on Google and we're on YouTube and we're on all these places, if you actually look at their marketing budget, you will find that 90% of their budget is spent on Meta ads. So while it's you want to chase that shiny object and be everywhere, everything, I forever say start with Meta. You master Meta, truly, a lot of the advertising platforms are very similar. And I will say that Meta is a bit more detailed, especially with the amount of AI that you have to look out for. So if you can really start with one, I always recommend Meta, and it will serve you long term before you jump into other ad platforms.
All right. Meta is the place to go first. Okay. I know that there's cost per leads. Or what's good metrics? How do you know that your ads are doing good? Right? What are the numbers? If I have an ad, do I want leads? And do you put it that it's for leads, or how does it work?
So Lauren and I might have similar or different opinions of this, but it's so specific to your business and your funnel and your offer. So when I work with clients, the first thing I do is understand what is that funnel? What are the goals that they want to achieve? And that helps us identify, okay, how should we structure our ads and what should those key metrics be? You don't want to be looking at 100 different metrics. You want to identify your North Star for each campaign so that you have a key metric to focus on. Of course, there are going to be secondary metrics if we're not hitting that, and to help diagnose what could be what's not working or what is working. But you need to identify what are those key metrics to align with your goals. What action do you want the person to take based on each step of your funnel?
And I will say, as far as Linda, when you're talking about leads, so inside my program, I have a lot of people that are running leads, and they're all talking about their different cost per lead. But just like Samantha was saying, just because someone has a cost per lead that might be a sub $2, and someone else, let's say a cost per lead is $8, if you look at their business model, it's totally different price points. And so if you're selling a super high ticket program, your cost per lead might be higher than someone who's selling a freebie, for instance. So it's not always apples to apples, but when you're really trying to gauge what is successful, also the first time that you launch your campaign, those metrics, it's going to be inflated. This is the first time you're running ads. So as you go and you're running more ads month over month, you will and you should see those cost pers decreasing, and or your return on ad spend, if we're doing conversion campaigns, those should be increasing. But again, it's making sure that you have all the pieces in play, you understand the strategy. There's a lot to the metrics, but really not, I would say truly, just as I was saying, trying not to get overwhelmed with all the metrics and really focusing on a couple at a time.
Okay, those are valid points. Very good insight. I think sometimes we can stray away from ads, or we don't know how to utilize it and we don't know what information to trust. What do we do? So for a mompreneur with limited time and budget, where do Meta ads realistically fit into her growth plan right now? And where do they not fit?
I would say truly, if for someone that's a busy mom, you're wanting to start running ads, where do they start? There's no one righter way to do it. As far as I wouldn't say run your lead gen. Again, it's make sure all the things. But I will say that It's important to work backwards. So if you know you have a launch, let's say it's coming up in July, instead of launching ads 2 weeks out from the launch for the very first time, that's where I'm going to suggest you look at your calendar and start running some very low budget ads. And they could be something as simple as getting eyeballs on your Instagram. And the whole point of that is so that when you are ready to launch and to launch your conversion campaign ads, you are able to retarget people who have already shown interest in you, or you're getting your brand established. People might be used to seeing your face pop up. This is something that if you're looking for to just get started somewhere, I would start with that, because also too, you can take a lot of learnings from these low budget ad campaigns with the traffic. You can understand, you can try different hooks, you can try different creative formats, different audiences. And so that way, when you're really going into the launch and you're spending a big majority of your budget, you're already set up with the top creatives and top audiences.
I would just add to that. One caveat with that is when you're doing, excuse me, when you're doing these types of campaigns, the visibility type of campaigns and testing, don't expect to get a return. You're not selling them something yet. You're using it to warm Meta up. You're just getting started. You're using it to warm Meta up to test what messages resonate. If you have a low ticket offer, then you could run ads too. Do it. That's going to help Meta find more of your buyers ahead of your launch. But if you don't have that in place yet, and you're just launching something for the first time, those visibility strategies that Lauren was talking about, it's a great way to warm the system up, have that retargeting audience. And I couldn't agree more on starting ahead of time. I always say you want to start by focusing at least 2-3 months out so you can start to build that audience of buyers, whether that's building your email list or just building that retargeting pool with people watching videos, et cetera. But figuring out, what does that funnel look like for you? What does your evergreen look like versus your launches? Do you have a lead gen that you can focus on with building your email list? Right now, Meta made this big change last year, Andromeda. The more you can tell Meta who your buyers are, the better it's going to be for Meta to find people that are going to make that purchase from you. So when we can feed Meta that buyer data, when we can show them that these leads are becoming buyers, we're going to get a lot more buyers on our email list versus just freebie seekers. But it also, every buyer journey is going to be a little different. I had a client where we looked at all their data and found that people who are opting into their free lead magnets weren't necessarily purchasing their evergreen membership right away, but 45 days later, after they'd gotten to know them through email, that's when they were purchasing. So there's value to building that email list, even if it's not with direct buyers right away.
No, I believe in building email lists. Absolutely, 100%. So we have some comments. Melissa says, that's so good, because I think that people think that ads will fix everything and it's a fast way to make money. I absolutely think that. And then it also says, that's so good. Let people see you get that visibility first before selling to people right away. She says, thank you. Yeah, these are really great takes. So let's just say we have a digital product-based business. I'm going to go into the nitty-gritty over here. I might as well. We have a product-based business, and we have both low tickets and high ticket offers. Okay. If I was to sit with you, Lauren, what strategy would you tell me to do?
That's great. Truthfully, those are two different buyers. So that's the first thing to establish. And it's, when you're running paid ads, it's all about level setting your expectations, truly. The low ticket offer, just as Samantha was saying, go ahead and run ads that start building the retargeting, go ahead and start figuring out what works. By all means, yes, go down that route. I think it's important too, with that low ticket offer, when you're running ads to it, have your email sequence in mind so that, if you know that they are 50% through the low ticket or 75%, start warming them up to upsell into your high ticket offer. And then at the more you're doing that, you can also launch your high ticket ads. I will say though, from a ad perspective, the people that are buying your high ticket offer, they might need additional touch points. So something that you can do in your strategy to get people to buy this high ticket is to run a book a call type of ad campaign where it's essentially a lead gen. It's leading to get more information. Those that actually book the call are action takers, right? And so that's where even you can retarget based on people who are interested in booking that call with your high ticket. But I think truly when it comes to the ad strategy about that, it's really looking for, I hate to always be look behind the scenes, but it really is making sure you're doing the legwork too on your email campaigns and getting them primed to make that high ticket purchase.
All right. I like it. I like the perspective. All right. So basically you're saying go ahead. If you got that low ticket, go ahead and start it. And then basically it's going to be in the back end for that higher ticket price point. Can you run ads to a high ticket program? Oh, before we go there, I'll go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, no, for sure. I even think about myself. I always try to put a human into it, and I'm always, here's what I'm actively doing. So there is a time where I run ads to my high ticket offer, but I'm doing a lot of strategy before I just launch those ads. I might have a masterclass. I might have a low ticket masterclass that you pay for that then pushes them into this high ticket. You can absolutely run ads to the high ticket, but I think it was just, again, with the level setting, you might spend more money to get that conversion result. It might not be as instantaneous as the low ticket offer. So as long as you have the budget and you're okay with spending, knowing that in the long term, I might spend $2,000 right now, let's say in a week. But if someone buys my 12K product, it works, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your take on that too. Since
Yeah,
you're
I would love to hear. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think just stepping back on the initial ask of it, I think you have to look at how all these different offers feed together. What does that stack look like? What is that user journey? And that's really going to help customize the strategy. Because I think Lauren had some really great points, bringing in that person into the low ticket offer and then making sure your email sequence is there 100%. Selling to a cold, it's also about your audience. You're talking to a cold audience or a warm audience. And so the low ticket offers, the free offers, those types of things are great for that cold audience of people that don't know you yet. But a high ticket offer, it's a lot harder to sell somebody who does not know you into a high ticket offer. They need that, especially today. Trust is at an all-time low. People need that connection. They want to know you. And so what are you doing to get people into those high ticket offers? Rarely is it just someone who pops onto your website or your sales page, never talked to you before, doesn't follow you, isn't on your email list, and is suddenly purchasing a high ticket offer. You're usually taking some sort of step, whether that step is the low ticket funnel or the community you mentioned, or if it's something else. What does that look like? And then craft ad strategies that align with each of those. So the workshop that Lauren was mentioning, those do really well for high ticket offers. They get that connection with you. You're there live with them usually, and they can see how you work. They can ask you questions. If you're just doing a low ticket offer and leading them into that, then crafting the retargeting strategy. So you're bringing that cold audience into the low ticket offer and then retargeting that warm audience into the high ticket offer. There are absolutely ways of structuring it. It all comes down to mapping out what does that customer journey look like? When you're not thinking about ads, how are people getting into these different tiers of your offers? Let's make sure that we're marrying that with what we're doing from an ads perspective.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Okay. I got a story time. So one of the things that I stumbled onto was bundles and of course virtual summits. They work differently. But what I love about bundles is that it does validate your offer because you're bringing in fresh wind into it and stuff that people are seeing you. And also a whole bunch of people are choosing to download your particular item. Because of that, I learned that it wasn't my offer. It was basically I didn't have enough visibility. If it wasn't selling, it wasn't because of my offer was bad. It was just I didn't have enough visibility on it and not enough the right eyes, you guys were saying, were on it, right? So that's one of the things that in this community, people start off with doing a bundle. They validate because why throw money on something that you don't even know if it would even convert when it comes to visibility and stuff like that. And someone putting themselves out there and seeing which direction they should go. Should I do just get the visibility and then launch this thing? I think we solidify that if we have a low ticket offer, just go ahead and run ads to it because it will help you out in the long run. We have already established that basically if you have a high ticket, that there may be more of a sequence and your leads cost per leads may be higher. So, hey, don't look at your numbers and where the conversions are happening. Sometimes a higher number, if it's a higher price point, it's going to be higher. So when you sit down with someone, right, and they're okay, I have everything in place, I validated my offer. Do you think that visibility is more of the thing? Should they be showing up on IG as much, or would ads be the thing that's doing it? What are people seeing, especially with this trust recession, right? That's what they're calling it. What are people seeing? What should we have? We know the back end we have to have in place, but what type of funnel items should we have in place, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can jump in first, but I think one of the things about ads that's great is that when you are running ads, they show up for you. Now, that does not mean you don't have to be on Instagram at all. You don't have to be on there selling every day. You can show up what makes sense for your business. I think in the past, you might be able to say, oh, ads can show up for you and you don't have to worry about having a presence. You need to have some sort of a presence. If people go to your Instagram profile and they see you have no posts, or you haven't engaged with anything, you haven't posted anything for a year, they're going to wonder if you're actually still around or if you're legit. You have to have some sort of presence. Do you have to be there every day? No. Do you have to be there 3 days a week, 5 days a week? Not necessarily. For organic, that's a totally different strategy than ads in terms of how often you show up. I actually recommend to a lot of clients, especially my Done With You clients, now with meta ads, you need to be feeding it more content more consistently. So when you're crafting your content strategy organically, always make sure you have at least one piece of content that could feed into your ad campaigns. You can start to validate that piece of content when you post it organically, and then you can pull it into your ad campaigns, not by hitting boosts. We're not going to do that, but by adding it into your ad campaign in Ads Manager as one of the pieces of content. And so you have to look at them as they're sort of two different strategies in the sense that your ads are going to be your sales fuel. Your organic is going to be more of that visibility, but they're going to work together as well. When you run ads, you're naturally going to get more followers. Your organic content can do really well in ads when it's set up the right way. You're going to get that visibility when you run ads, but they're different strategies as well in terms of how you have to think about them.
I always tell my clients, you cannot just forget organic. You just can't. I always recommend, if you know that you are going to be recording ads or you're creating ads, let's say you're doing some face UGC content, go ahead and film stories ahead of time if you do, so that way you can be offline if you want to, but also absolutely marry your organic content with your paid. I see this really well. I have a couple of done for you clients that sell very high ticket, and they'll come to me and say, let's say sales might be slow. And I'm like, get your booty on stories today. Because people oftentimes too, it's that know and trust. They see you every day on stories and all of a sudden you're going dark. It's where'd you go? So it just helps with the entire sales funnel to show up organically. And I will also say I'm a huge believer in not reinventing the wheel. And so just as Samantha was saying, if something is performing really well on organic, 100%, you can use what you have on organic as ads. Ads have so many different creative hooks, angles, differentiations, yes, but you can also very much get started with what you have on your organic profile.
Oh my gosh. So many things are going through my head. Ton of questions before I get into them. Melissa says, and I guess I'm pre-coaching. I have a lead magnet that flows to a small digital product. However, I think I want it to lead to my high ticket offer. So in my case, if I want to run ads, would I start with a visibility strategy first for a while and then lead to high ticket ads? Or is it better to let it flow to a low ticket offer and then nurture high ticket? Good question.
I can answer from the funnel standpoint. I think if your low ticket offer gives them an initial transformation that the high ticket offer can expand on, that's a much better strategy of bringing people in. When you get people on your email list, yes, you can sell them into high ticket offers, but if you're getting them in for something completely, they need to marry each other. They need to be connected. So if it's connected, yes, run ads to the low ticket offer, nurture them with email. You can do retargeting ads to bring them into your high ticket offer. you can absolutely set up a strategy that way. I think it just sort of depends on what are the steps that people are currently taking to get from stranger into high ticket buyer.
I 100% agree. And then also, I would say too, if you're wanting to run ads to that high ticket, I almost typed this in the chat when we were talking about this just a second ago. It's so funny how we're here about ads, but we are really talking about the entire ecosystem of selling. There's so much sales activity that goes into what you're doing to make a purchase. And so if you're running that high ticket offer, I really would encourage you to try to, one, yes, sell to your email list, but try that sales activity of a webinar, the masterclass, something to get people through the door. Your freebie is great, but get something where they get to know you, your personality, your experience, so that when you go to pitch the high ticket, it's a lot easier.
I always tell people, you got to have a runway. They say, oh, I launched my stuff. It didn't sell. Yeah, because it came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere and it's just hitting them. What is going on? So I always tell people, before you create the offer, get on your stories, poll them, get in your Facebook group if you have one, poll them, get them along the journey so they know that you're about to launch something. So when you're ready to launch it, they were part of that journey and probably piping hot to just come on into the journey. Yeah. Okay. So another question is budget. Do we need to spend $20,000 to $200,000 a month on ads? I know I've seen it. People say, well, I just spent $200,000, but we made $800,000, right? And running these ads, which I think is crazy. But I know some people are doing it, right? I mean, you guys are behind some of these accounts. So for someone to start, right? We're moms, we're getting started, we validated, we got our stuff in place, we're deciding the ecosystem, we're deciding what offer, what money should we throw at it? And then how long do we wait? For me, I launched something in 3 days. I'm like, I want to take it down.
Yeah. This really should have been when you were saying the spicy, unpopular opinion. It's budget, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a couple different ways to think about it. So when you're looking at how much should I spend on this campaign, if you are coming out of the gates, please don't spend $20,000. So I'm going to break it down into different types of buyers or advertisers. So you've got your brand new buyer or advertiser, excuse me, sorry. You have your brand new advertisers, first time running ads. I always recommend no less than $25 a day because the whole point of running these ads is to figure out what works for you, who your audience is, so that you can get to your end result faster. You want to make this revenue goal. The way to do that is to truly feed the system and to get that data. So if you're running a $5 campaign a day, it's going to take that much longer to get the data that you need, right? So you might end up wasting money, or your ads that are poor performers will take longer to show you that they're poor performers if you're not spending enough money. So I always recommend at least $25 a day per ad set. So this is per audience, okay? Now, when it comes to the advertiser who is familiar with ads, they've been running ads for a while, and then they're ready to scale. This is when I say, let's look at the price of your product. Because I have let's say you're an interior designer virtually who has a $20K package, okay? If you're going to spend $3,000 to get that $20K buyer, I just want you to pause and think about the math for a second. I'm not saying that you need to spend the $20K on ads to get that $20K buyer, but you might need to be investing a bit more depending on the price point of your offer. So while I can't tell you what's going to be best for the best bang of your budget, there's so many factors in place. I do always just recommend look at your price points and work backwards in the sense of what makes sense to you financially, but also that if I invest this much, let's at least break even.
Yeah, I'll add your budget is so specific to your business, your offer, the cost of your offer, Lauren was saying. So I have had clients who are spending the $25, $30 a day and they're making 2, 3, 4 times their ad spend back. And that's great. Then when you want to start to scale it, you need to add more. It really just depends. When I work with clients, we need to understand what are their goals? What is the cost of their offer? What do they need to make if they're a product-based business? The cost of their offer, but their COGS and all the different factors that go into what what's going to make them an actual profit. Put all of these things together to figure out that budget. Budgets are so specific, and it's not something you can just pull out of a hat and say, this strategy. I've seen Lauren mention the $5. I've seen ads everywhere about a $5 a day ad strategy. That's a visibility ad strategy. That is not where is going to get you that revenue. You need to be spending a lot more than $5 a day to get that return on investment.
Thank you so much, both of you ladies. I'm going to take over for Linda. Samantha, you just said something really interesting, though. Because this is actually a question I've been sitting on, waiting for the Q&A section. You mentioned the $5 a day ad. That's obviously a super popular tactic that we're seeing advertised these days. I'm even seeing a lot of $3 a day or $7 a day. I don't think it's probably not the number that matters. It's just the fact that it's super low spend. Is there any value to running those at first to validate your offer or get some visibility before you jump into the types of funnels that you both are talking about? Or is it almost a waste? Is there any value to doing these things at all? I'd love to hear from both of you.
Sure. So in terms of validating your offer, that's not going to validate your offer. It's strictly visibility. You want more eyes on the videos you're putting out there? Go ahead. I think it really depends on your reasoning for wanting to do it. If you are just starting out and you need to warm up your ad account, do it for a week or 2 weeks just to get that initial thing going and then launch an ad that's actually designed for your funnel. I think those types of visibility ad strategy, they are really best if you're just focusing on getting more eyeballs and if you're trying to build up that warm audience. But it's also important to remember that when you're building up the warm audience just on your video content, you're not necessarily building up an audience of people who are likely to buy from you or who are raising their hand in what you're doing. They're not getting on your email list. They're not actually purchasing anything yet. They're just watching your video. A lot of people could watch the video. So I personally mostly recommend running ads to something that is aligned to your business goals versus vanity.
Well, thank you so much. And I think that's super helpful because I said I even have a lot of clients myself asking me if that's something I've done or they should try. It's not anything that I've done. So ads are not my area of expertise. I usually defer that one. Lauren, did you have anything to add to that one?
That was spot on from the sense of warming up your pixel or getting eyeballs onto your Instagram account, whatever it is. This is where you might want to monitor exactly who is clicking through to your Instagram profile and making sure that it's aligned. You can see this in Meta. So if you're running, let's say, a broad audience campaign, because again, that's what the update, everybody's saying, go broad. If you know that your ideal audience are women within a certain age range, you might want to look at those demographics when you're running those low budgets and making sure that it's actually going to who you want them to. So if you're seeing a lot of men click through and that's not your ideal audience, you're going to want to adjust that, even though it is a low budget ad.
Oh, that's super interesting and super helpful. So what I'm hearing in terms of the takeaway is these types of low budget ads really can help get eyeballs, but eyeballs don't necessarily translate to any type of revenue. Again, Samantha said it's really a vanity metric. And then on the other hand, what it could do, though, is help you understand who your content is resonating with and if there's any changes you need to make there. But otherwise, probably not the best for, at least the ladies listening to this panel discussion, probably not the best for what we're trying to do.
I agree. Yep.
I would love to know, what are some of the most common myths or bad advice that you actually see, especially women, believing about the Meta ads? What's something more accurate you wish they knew instead?
Yeah, that boosting is running ads. It's just not. Oftentimes, if we're having discovery calls, and that's my number one question, have you ever run ads before? And people say yes. And I was like, can you walk me through your process? And it turns out that truly they've just been boosting. And also, when people say ads didn't work for me, that's the number one thing I ask too. What do you mean? Can you tell me? And it would be because they boosted this one thing. And so when you're boosting a post, it is not run through Meta Ads Manager in the way that our ad campaigns are. You don't have as much capabilities to target exactly who you're wanting to. You're just saying, here's some money, go for it. And it's, again, not tied to that business goal. So that's the number one myth that we're always debunking, that boosting, although it's very tempting, it's not always accurate. And going on to with it being tempting in the world of AI and within the Meta dashboard, very tempting to do everything that Meta tells you to do. And write this down, put it on your computer. How do you think Meta makes money? From people paying to be on the platform. So if Meta is going to recommend that you increase your budget 25%, just because they say so doesn't mean your goals, your wallet, any of your structure agrees with that. So just always be mindful. Meta is truly going to want you to spend more or to do this AI feature because they get rewarded on it. So it's just really good to always have your human brain, but also to maybe not ask ChatGPT on these things. Just again, with the human brain, that is probably the biggest two things I have seen lately. ChatGPT told me this.
Literally took the exact two things with those words out of my mouth. I could not agree more. No one knows your business more than you do. Do not let Meta tell you what your objectives should be, what your messaging should be, who your audience. No. You need to put your brain on, set it up correctly. Don't boost and don't take every prompt that Meta throws at you.
Okay, now this is getting interesting because I have boosted a post or two in my lifetime. But you mentioned even the audience, Samantha. Does that mean we should not necessarily use, I can't remember exactly how they've titled it, but there's that new
Advantage
Meta
Plus.
picks your audience. Yeah. Should we not use that?
It really depends. And Lauren, you and I may have differing opinions on it, but I think similarly to any AI out there, the output you get is only as good as the input you give. So if you don't have a ton of sales data to feed Meta, if you haven't had your pixel on your website for a long time, if you aren't constantly running sales campaigns to consistently tell Meta who your buyers are, Advantage Plus may not work to your advantage. You might need to give it parameters. I think that some businesses it works well for, others it doesn't. For most clients that I'm working with, we generally need at least some parameter in there, whether it's we're targeting a broader entrepreneur audience or a fitness audience or whatever their business category is. We're layering something in, the demographics information of who their audience is. But we're gone are the days where you're taking, I've worked with a lot of fitness coaches. And so a bar class and a Pilates class and a this class and a that class, we're not stacking 100 audiences anymore. That's in the past. You still need to give it some parameters though, unless you have a massive budget and a massive volume of sales data. And I'll tell you, having worked and I don't know, Lauren, how the big brands that you've worked with are, but like when Advantage Plus first came out, Coca-Cola and some of those big brands that I've worked with, they were not touching any of those AI things with a 10-foot pole. Big brands aren't using them for a variety of reasons. And some might be starting to, but there are pros and cons to AI, and I don't generally I think of be cautious with how much
Plus you use. Samantha, I'm itching at this. As you can tell how passionate we're getting about it.
Yeah.
I always try people, think about how you interact on your phone, okay? When you see an ad that it's not in this format and it's this teeny tiny thing, it's literally this big, and it's why is it not taking out the full screen? Oh, well, it actually is giving AI twist to it. So what I'm saying is if you let AI do what it wants to do, it might do something called a flex media where it's downgrading your ad and it's coming off from a user perspective as it disrupts the feed. It doesn't look the content that we're used to seeing. And so while there are some great features with the AI, there are so many things that I will go in and just turn off simply because, again, put your human brain on that when you're scrolling yourself, you want to see something you're paying for, look how it should be to the naked eye. That's one thing. Another thing is when you're in the dashboard, so we love hate Meta. When you're in the dashboard and you're making a small edit, let's say you're changing a copy or something, and it's before you even launch your ads, you've already turned off everything and I'm going to change my headline real quick. AI will turn back on. And so you need to look for AI. 80% of my day is talking about AI. truly. Meta's AI. Because people will be, oh, I turned that off. I'm like, yes, you did. But then you went back in and Meta turned it on and it's hidden from you. You don't know where to find the thing. Again, when I say Meta makes money by people paying it, it's hiding some of these things and you have to really spend some time looking for it. I'll also just go into, Samantha, what you were saying about the targeting. When everybody's, oh, we need to do this because this is what's coming out. There's so much noise right now on what is best. So it's, again, take some things with a grain of salt of your audience. So let's say you're running that broad campaign, the example I just gave about your audience is women, but you're just going to try broad because everybody's saying to go broad. And you're seeing that 90% of your clicks, literally, let's just say clicks are not conversions, are men. And that's where you need to go in and manually have that little layer, Samantha was saying, of targeting women because you know that your offer is for women. Yeah, we could talk all day about AI.
Yeah. I think this is what's going on when it comes to those hidden things. They want to also train their AI bots. I think that's one of the things too, is a lot of research, right? They're running ads anyways. But one of the things, one thing came into my email that I thought was very interesting. Have you guys heard of Lumi?
Yeah, the deodorant?
No.
No.
So these two ads manager came out, and they're women. They came out so close. Christina says so close. They came out with AI that helps people run meta ads. And they came out with Lumi isn't a chatbot that learned about ads from the internet. So they built their own AI tool. So it's called adsbylumi.com. You guys can check it out. I'll pull it up for you guys to even view it because I got it right.
No, I was just typing. That's how much I stray away from AI.
I'm in there. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to get behind. AI is going big. So I actually did. I checked it out, to be honest. I have not ran a campaign with it, but I have checked it out. Do you guys want to see the back end?
Yeah.
While you're doing it, Linda, I will just say no AI is perfect. And so if you are handing full reins over to AI, there's so much risk there. I mean, I know so many people who've built that custom AI and they put it in their programs and it's not, I mean, I just did this with I have a coach and she did this whole AI thing for us and I was questioning the output and I shared it with her and she's, it's AI. It's not perfect. Use your brain. This is wrong. And if you don't know ads and you use AI to run them for you, you aren't going to be able to know what's right.
What works, what doesn't work. I mean, I thought it was a cool tool. Is it a ChatGPT? I mean, they did say it's not ChatGPT running it, but is it a ChatGPT for ads? I don't know. So these two ad manager build it out. They just launched it. So I'm in that founding member beta thing that they have. And it synchronizes with your website.
What you're doing is there's a lot of AI tools that will create ads now. I think that's what you're walking through. It's pulling and will AI put a woman on the screen with whatever it is.
I have no idea what it does. But I thought it was interesting. And might as well. Especially we are in the beginning of an AI boom. Where we're at, like this is history in the making, right? People are going to look back. Remember when AI was first? That's what's going to happen. So I might as well check it out and learn from it. It supposedly knows certain things about meta ads. So that's just something I wanted to know your take on it. Your take on meta ads. So what you guys are saying is get off that thing. Or would you guys even use this? I think they have probably tiers for agency style. As agency owners, would you guys even use it? No. Okay.
But I'll just share a quick story on Meta's AI for creating ads, or two stories really, if it's okay. One of my clients, she was a young Asian business coach. We put in her content with a picture of her, and Meta gave us an up and said, you should use this of an elderly white woman. That's not the same person. There are many things about that that's not the same. So, and it was pulling from her content and saying, I'm going to create things this, and then chose somebody that's different age demographic, different race, different. So when you said the pulling from the website, it could also pull really incorrect information or take something and think, oh, this is an example. I'm going to give you other people other people could find themselves in it, but that's not the purpose of it. I know someone who ran ads and accidentally turned on one of the AIs from Meta for creative, and it pulled something from their website into the copy of their ad. They had a comparison chart on their website of them versus a competitor. It pulled the competitor's percentage discount into their ad, making it look like they were offering that percentage off. So I urge you to be cautious when using AI with ads. I think there is absolutely places for feeding your copy into a Claude or whatever and asking it to help you come up with variations of something that was working, asking it to help you get started. But you still have to put your brain into it. You still have to review everything. You still have to use your mind and what you know about your messaging and your audience and your brand to create ads that are actually going to convert.
No, that's a great perspective. I think it does the copy thing. It's intriguing to me. So that's why we're having these conversations, because some people don't know those things about AI, right? Don't know that what you're better off learning the platform yourself, right? So Lauren, you said you have a story.
I read to my next one, but I'm just going to echo Samantha, spot on. It's use it at your own risk. Just make sure you're always have that human element. You're always checking. You always have your own eyeballs. But thank you, Linda, so much for having me. Thank you, Samantha. I loved sharing this panel with you. And I hope to see you all soon.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, I think this was a pretty cool discussion, I would say. Thank you so much, Samantha. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Any final words?
I would just say when it comes to ads, there's a lot that goes into it. One of the most important things, and Lauren and I talked a lot about this today, is it really is about customizing your strategy to your business. So make sure you do that. I mean, both Lauren and I have done with you offers. We're sure both of us are happy to help. You have two great resources here, and there's knowing how to structure your ad to your funnel, knowing how to navigate Ads Manager, that is going to impact your success so much more than what you are spending. It's not just about throwing money at something, it's about doing it the right way. And that's what I would leave you with.
No, and I want to say thank you so much, because another reason for this conversation, because some women are already ready, right? I'm totally putting this on the podcast. So I know some people are already ready for ads, but they don't know who has the right information. I think to your point, Lauren and Samantha, the output is only as good as the input. So if we don't have the base understanding, then AI might not help us as much as we think. Absolutely.
100%.
I agree, Melissa. I agree, because it's just using ChatGPT. You're not going to take it word for word, right? We're going to change things up. I know what I have to do is write everything how I get. Then I put it up in ChatGPT that this finesses it. And then I still got to go back and edit because it's not perfect. It's going to say some things you're like, that's not what I want to say.
Exactly.
Right? No, I love this perspective. And thank you so much for just showing your expertise. Who do we trust? Obviously, Lauren and Samantha. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and Christina, would you have any final things to say?
Oh my gosh, this was amazing. I just know how much I learned today. So I am super thankful to both of you for coming on. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some follow-up questions, but I'm super excited to put this out into the community.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so nice to be here and meet everyone and reach out with any questions.
Absolutely. And that's it for today.